Discipline Stoners.
The gateway drug to mindfulness.
Gateway drug to mindfulness. Let's roll one up and take a hit. Gateway drug to mindfulness. Let's roll one up and take a hit. Gateway drug to mindfulness.
Let's set an intention for this podcast. Let's say, may this conversation bring harmony, love, enlightenment, and expansion of understanding to everyone who listens and partakes. May everyone be spoken about with love and light and interest and curiosity. And may our creativity blend together a wonderful conversation that is important and pivotal in the journey with cannabis. And so it is.
So it is. Thank you.
So it is.
Thanks for joining us, bro.
Thanks for having me.
Let's have a good show.
Have a good show.
Ready?
Yes.
And welcome back to another episode of Discipline Stoners. I'm your host, Ellevan.
My name is Winnie.
And we are the gateway drug to mindfulness. And today, man, this guy is such a sweetheart. He's a powerful being in cannabis. There's important players in the music industry, in the film industry, and the cannabis industry alike. And my boy plays many roles, but today we are blessed with the presence of, help me with the last name if I can't get it, but Shahbaaz Kara Varani.
Varani nailed it.
Okay, say it again. Say it full.
Kara Varani.
Shahbaaz Kara Varani. Put your hands together. Thanks for being here, bro.
Yeah, thanks for coming on the
Thanks
show.
For having me.
I guess we are very big supporters of just like free flow conversation. So this could go anywhere. But I knew you before the cannabis industry.
Explain yourself. Let's dive into this.
It's so fun that you and I met at the yoga studio that I teach at, and we developed a bit of a relationship in yoga, I think. And then I remember you, and I thought it was 2018, but I guess it was 2019. Be like, I'm leaving, taking off. You got to end my membership. I'm going out to LA or the States for some work in cannabis. And I was like, that's fucking cool.
So you do yoga, so we already love you, and then you moved to the States, to California, to do cannabis.
Didn't move to the States. Tried to move. Well, was going to move, but at the time was working at Lift & Co. And that was a crazy time in cannabis.
Yeah, it was.
That's cool, though, that we're sitting here.
I know.
And
then we re-met.
And when we re-met. But before we jump into any of that, I just want to say how grateful I am to get to know you two as like individually in our own paths and together. And everyone needs to watch what
I just burnt a hole right through my shorts.
You two do.
Thank you so much.
Because I just got to witness a master class, and I mean, look, I don't say this lightly. That was cool what you both did the other night. They threw an incredible show.
Any Disney masturbators in the room? Statistically, there are. So.
How'd you get that wife, motherfucker, you're asking? I got really good at tap dancing. Tippity tap.
Together with amazing talent, local and afar, and put people on a really cool stage and platform.
Totally.
And facilitated and made everyone feel so welcome, first of all. Secondly, like just the organization and like the attention to detail on the event itself.
Oh, thank
well
you
done.
So much. Thank you so
much. And then you both rocked it. You're so funny, Winnie.
That's so kind. Thank you so much.
Yeah. I so appreciate that so
funny.
much.
Honestly, I loved your bit. The toe killed me because now I'm thinking back to like shit. Like Winnie's my yoga teacher. So I'm like,
I know.
You gotta see Winnie's set, guys.
Yeah,
you
come
have
see
to.
me.
And
that is so beautiful. Thank you, brother.
That was incredible.
So
honestly, that was incredible.
Thank you.
The way you put together random things that were happening in the moment.
Yeah.
And like orchestrated it and orchestrated it and then went into
Yeah, an evening out, we can lead it back to my home. It's like I be eating that. You can see it get sweeter. Sorry, that's a sweetest patch. Patch your love, soul patch. Catch me up, hold that. Yeah, man, that's cold. Damn! Get that out of my ass. We moving too fast. You bastards now get back to the romance.
4 to 7 different types of genres of music. Okay, and made the story so compelling and so funny. The rambunctious turtle, okay, it was an Aussie guy on a mushroom trip,
Acid trip.
on an acid trip,
Yeah.
looking at this rambunctious turtle, which was actually a lizard.
And my man was listening. See.
Oh my goodness gracious!
Sometimes there's 3 types of audience. There's someone that is like already knows what you do, so they know what to expect. And then there's 2 types of people who are learning about your vibing out on the first time. And it's those who are just like nodding along to the beat and the general energy, which is cool. So when I did Indonesia, people don't speak English, but it's good enough that people can be like, oh, this is nice. He's putting a song together.
Then it sounds nice.
But then there is the smallest percentage of those who actually listen.
I was in it.
You're getting like the whole gift, because like how much it's taken me to train to put lyrics like that together. Like I started in theater sports, so that's why I won't just. Your average freestyle rapper will be like turtle running in a circle trying to hop a hurdle, just
wait,
like Urkel.
Hold on. Theater sports?
Yeah. So improv. So like Second City. So like I trained in that. So like, and we met an improv troupe. So I have like a holistic storytelling thing when I improv, where it's like, I'm not trying to be cocky. I'm like, there's no way a rapper could compete with me just rhyming. Yeah, it's like, it's something else.
I don't even know what you are. You're insane. You're like a shaman.
Insane person.
Yeah.
You're like a guided, like.
He is. He's so captivating.
It's wild.
Yeah.
I was blown away. There's no way I could have ever got that from video. I don't know how I would have got that from video. Like I was so engaged the whole thing, and the build up to it was amazing.
I'm so glad you got to see
all
it,
the comedians were hilarious.
He was
Shows
always
amazing.
an incredible rhymer. Like ever since I met him, he could rhyme the shit out of words, like for sure. But like when I've been with him for so long, so I saw him develop this skill of taking a situation and talking about it and making it rhyme in a clever manner. And I was just like, when he started doing that, it was the most insane thing I've ever seen.
What does it feel like to be like that quick? We were trying to talk about it, right? Like it's like, how quickly do you have to think about like so many things? Like I can't even like.
Thanks, bro. Appreciate
I don't even know how to write a post sometimes, you know. And you have to consider environment, you know, the story, the tone, the pace, the relevancy, the repetition. What you do really good, because it's cool. Because I got trained in selling from Salesforce, right? But like selling has such a negative moniker to it, and honestly, that's the reason I get to be here today is because I learned that. But it's an art and a science. And
Absolutely.
So it's like,
absolutely, I hate selling.
No, selling is. I learned some of.
It's
or
so
I
important.
started to flex this in sales, like in my early 20s, with side hustle jobs too. When we were 19, stand in Costco, sell Van Hue coffee.
Yeah,
Do samples.
That's
I did that shit.
You can sample Van Hue coffee, but you can't sample cannabis to consumers. But guess what? You can sample
What?
to consumers or to bud tenders.
What?
Samples?
Hey,
No samples to consumers. Samples to bud tenders.
Yeah.
No, but I'm so glad that
quick?
you enjoed the show, man. Thank you so much.
But hold on. Let's go step back to that for a second. How walk me through.
Whose interview is this?
Yeah, we want to get to
Welcome
you
to
eventually
welcome
too,
to my
bro.
interview.
You know, if I
What I
had
tend to do on interviews.
if I had to trust someone to actually take it, Shahbaaz is also a wonderful moderator. When we were at O Cannabis, there's no one, no disrespect to anyone else, but there's no one that held it down like you. You
respect.
absolutely could have your own show one day and shit.
Yeah.
Like,
Cool.
you have a
Appreciate that.
trustworthy, likable character. That's like half
Perfect,
the
it's
battle
working.
right there. The strategy.
Does
comes.
that interest you at all? Would you like to be
have you met him?
A personality?
You know what's
in
wild
cannabis?
is
Are, whether you like it or not. Sorry.
which is so interesting, and like I've never thought of it that way, but here's what happened. So I was trained in like I got kind of bounced my way through school. I went to Western, shout out Western, and then went to Salesforce. Got trained in corporate selling, but realized selling is everything. It's everything. Shout out to Black Market.
Shout out,
Holy
especially
fuck.
selling black market jealousy.
Jealousy. What
This
is
tastes
strain?
so fucking
And where do we get
good.
it from? Sticky Nugs?
Sticky. You can get sticky nugs. You can get all sorts of
You can get it
different
anywhere.
places around the GTA,
That's
Ontario, BC.
Look at that. It's like
That's
white. It's
crazy.
like it's not white ash. It's white sandy beach sand.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
clay. It's white clay.
Yeah. Fuck.
Yeah, it's.
Sorry to
So you
interrupt.
ended up. Sorry, continue.
No.
You went to Western Salesforce.
But like everything is communicating an idea, and you two do it really well. Like you both were selling, right?
Yeah.
Next verse, story, the laugh, like, which is fucking hilarious.
Whatever the ask is. Whatever. Just be
and it's like-
entertained.
and it's like solving problems. And one of the things I realized was I really loved the idea of like understanding what people had to say and like where their position was at, and like trying to solution towards them. But that also meant like a lot of internal selling to my team when I had ideas and things like that. So I started to like put together some events. And it's funny, I was telling my mom, I was laughing with her today, I'm like, after all that, Salesforce, blue chip company, then like Lyft and Dutchy, which is also an amazing company, raised 600 mil,
Yes.
released Dutchy Pay, changing the game.
Wow.
Shout out to Dutchy.
Shout out to Dutchy.
Accessibility, man, they're like helping everybody. A lot of people. They're pushing the envelope on the industry. Similar to Kind. And I was like, it's funny. Like, Josh looked at me last 7 months ago when we were in LA, and like we're about to go to dinner with Can. Shout out Can, changing the game as well.
Yeah.
With low dose beverages, incredible stuff.
Oh yeah.
And he looks at me and like we're about to walk out the door, and he's just like, "Hey, did you ever think that in 2021 you'd be selling a print only magazine?" Like, looks at me, laughs, goes into his room, we go to dinner.
So funny.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And it's like
Whoa.
now we've thrown this cool event, and like the thing about one of the reasons I made this switch into, there's many reasons, but one of the reasons I made this switch into Kind is I started to learn over the years, and cannabis has brought this really creative side out of me.
Yes.
Because it's like no one knows, so you may as well just build shit. And
Yeah.
and try to have a perspective and learn as much as you can and be like, holy fuck, like the more I do, I actually don't know anything.
But that's what's beautiful. You've learned to ask questions because it's over as soon as you think it's done or you know the answer. It's like to stay playful, to stay learning. It's so beautiful. It's such a special energy to tap into.
I love the stay playful aspect of it. I feel like you two
Zen, beginner's
really,
mindset.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting, like this Venn diagram of just popping into my head. It's like the playfulness, the discipline,
My guy.
the disciplined stonerness, right? And like the health and exercise portion, and it's like you find some sort of zen in there, but
The harmony with all of them, and more disciplines enforce others.
absolutely.
People think, oh, I can't spend all my energy with one discipline. Once you start to like create a discipline, you start to look at everything in your life as an ability to like grow it, and then so you become disciplined in it. It's beautiful.
I didn't realize how important discipline was when I was a kid.
But it's not
Me
sold to
either.
us because no one fucking has it, so no one can exemplify it. Your parents can't say be disciplined and then brag
and
about
it's-
their disciplines all
and
day.
I think
No, but they're not going to brag about it. They're not going to be like, look at this. I wake up every morning. Like, your dad's not going to fucking chachi you. Like, if he works out, that's his business. Like, your parents don't flex on you like that. You need to learn discipline through your own crew and your
But
own
they tried.
vocations.
They tried through like
Really?
habits. I just don't think like habits were. I didn't know what like the goal. A lot of it was like, yes, that with a combination of like didn't understand what habits were, didn't understand why they were important, but also it's like you didn't see the goal at the end. It's like
Right.
you didn't realize like what the micro moments were leading up to. At least that was what it was for
I'm
me.
writing about that right now.
No way.
Yeah. My next book's called Awareness versus Implementation. I think your alarm's going off. I think you put 6:15 instead of 6:50.
Oh, sorry. That's crazy. That's wild
That's exactly what
because
happened.
that's actually the name of my book. I'm writing about the same thing.
Which one?
The book that you just said on awareness. I'm just kidding. I'm fucking.
Oh my god, that's
my
hilarious.
God.
I was gonna
No,
say
that's
I wouldn't
happened
surprise
before.
me.
Oh, it's
it wouldn't
happened?
surprise me.
Well, not with him,
With-
but that like there is an author that has had that interaction
idea?
before, yeah, and it was like the exact same book, same characters with like, and there's just no way they would have met. They met like traveling or something.
Cool.
Here's a
Yeah.
question.
Yeah.
All right. And to answer your previous question.
Yeah.
And I have another question to answer from you too.
Well, we intended that this was free flow, so I think that we were doing just that.
We structured this whole thing.
This is written verbatim, even this part right here.
By the way, Winnie, you were really
Stop and
good
drink.
on that panel a couple months ago at O Cannabis. And shout out to also O
I felt-
Cannabis because contrary to the belief of many, even though that event was small and like everyone was like, we need a different event and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, 200 to 700 people there were speakers, but guess what? That put people on a platform. It got perspectives out. It encouraged.
It connected a network.
Connected a network that was intimate and like so. Like, there's a lot of naysayers on a lot of different shit. But my thing is, it's like show up and take advantage of the opportunity. Listen and take advantage of the opportunity.
Exactly.
Love that.
So
thank you for that.
I don't even
Well
know.
said. No,
thank you.
No, it needed some splash of some
yeah, man. I mean,
some
that's how we got to
objective love.
Maybe if I wasn't on those two panels with two different styles, maybe you wouldn't even want me on this show. I don't know, right? Like,
No, I know. There's
Yeah.
like there's so much
Hey,
value.
I got to freestyle in front of Organic.
Yeah,
That was cool.
That was
That
cool.
was a big takeaway in
That was
itself.
really cool.
That was just neat for me. A little side pocket, little.
Yeah, exactly.
And we got to see you, and we got to
It was
meet a bunch
just
of people,
fun.
and
Yeah,
seeing like
when he crushed it on the panel too. Like,
killed it, and we met Tanner there.
Tanner's the best. Shout out to Stewart Farms.
Yeah.
Shout out to
Stuart
Tanner
Farms. We got his blueberry bath that we're going to be doing a giveaway for that CBD bath, by the way. So stay
yeah.
tuned.
Tanner took one of the
Nice.
funniest videos, honestly, I've ever had yesterday on the
He's so
Instagram that I
funny.
possess. Because you don't own Instagram. Instagram owns Instagram.
Your
right?
profile,
Yeah.
your profile on their platform.
Yeah.
Yep.
I would like to get into like film
Fun.
and creation and I have a well, Josh has a wild idea. I have also an additional wild idea that comes into that, but like creation, movies, it's never a path that I thought I wanted to go into, but the cool thing is it's like I have a buddy, Alam, who runs Victory Creative. He puts together the NBA All-Star Game, like a whole bunch of stuff. One of the smartest people. Also taught me a lot about CPG. That's how I learned about the industry, was really through him because I had no fucking idea.
CPG.
Yeah, consumer packaged goods. That's what cannabis is,
Yeah.
right? And that's why I think it's so hard for people to grasp cannabis, because everyone thinks it's like what you roll in a J, and like they don't understand that it's like exactly, you know, things like coffee and all sorts of different things that you buy on a regular basis, or will be, right? Because you can distill it and isolate it into so many different
Exactly,
form
so many
factors.
forms, yeah.
And so
It truly will be everywhere very soon.
yeah, 100%. Anyways, not to digress, but I didn't know anything about CPG. I didn't know how a bar of soap got on a shelf before cannabis. So shout out to all the learning and knowledge
That's
that this
so
industry has given.
Right?
I can't speak for anyone else, but I'm just like, holy shit.
I agree.
The plant
No,
is
I
just
totally
a reason.
agree.
Winnie was like a GM of a brand for a while. Like,
Yeah.
you don't get that opportunity unless you have like college and stuff. And like,
Yeah.
she went to AMDA, she went to acting college. But like, and for me, I'm a fucking
not qualified.
sommelier, bro. I was not gonna plan on talking sommelier. I got into terps like a geek, and just like it will connect you. Like Shatterizer, Matt, that's now legal.
Shout out. Yeah, Matt and Val, they're awesome.
Yeah, Matt and
Shout
Val.
out
We're gonna have them
Shatterizer.
on too.
Yeah.
They sponsored my special.
Let's
like the
go.
special that I've been.
That's what you
like,
need to
for
be doing.
4
Well,
years ago.
bravo,
4 years ago,
bravo.
they were walking around Love Child Social getting people to hit their dabs before
I
you
have a
could get
Shatterizer
shattered
at home.
Oh yeah, everyone should have a Shatterizer at home.
Nice
Go
thing
get
is
yours.
when Matt and Val come to meet you, they bring love.
They're
There's
the
energy.
best. I know,
They're so
You
sweet.
both are very, very sweet,
and they
very,
rock
very-
their brand,
they
and they're
brand
beautiful
ambassadors.
people who are just
Which
there.
you got to be a brand ambassador of your brand.
Believe in yourself. Believe in
Fuck,
yourself.
You
yeah.
got to be a brand
Believe in
ambassador.
yourself.
I came to your event the other night, and I came with I came to your event the other night, by the way.
Thank you. Thank
I
you.
was there, right? You guys saw
Yeah,
me?
I did.
Oh,
You two
P.S.
were actually the first people I saw.
Thank you. P.S. Shahbaaz does Kind. Like, remember Kind? Like, the thing that we did a vlog for and we talked about?
Oh, yeah.
That's this guy's, like, brainchild.
That was such a great event.
That was, you fucking killed it, man. We just had Kelly on. They were like Kelly's Green Lounge.
They're the
like,
best.
They're
Shout out
like,
Kelly, you killed it.
yeah,
Yeah.
and her area felt like the classic hippie 420 vibe, which we love so much. We felt at home. But everyone's singing your praises, man. It was Kind was done right. It's important. Everyone agrees it's important. Whether someone had something extra to say or it was just like it was amazing or not, it's important. Everyone agrees. It's so good.
Appreciate it.
Everyone
you did great.
agrees.
You did so good.
Appreciate that. Like really do.
I know there was
And
shit going on, but whatever, man.
We
There's always
like.
shit
I just
going
want to
on in this industry.
give a quick shout out to like the team first and foremost. Shout out to the Kind team.
Kind team.
Absolutely killed every single part of that. Worked a ton under a lot of circumstances. Like there was no playbook to the playbook. You know what I
We're
mean?
all going by the seat of our fucking pants. This has not been done before.
Kind was crazy because, and I'm gonna write an article on this that I've been loafing on.
Sick. Yeah, you got it, man. People
I've
want to
been
hear your
so
perspective.
I've been so loafing on it because I just it's like there's so much to say, but I want to keep it concise. So I'm just gonna say it right now. The cool thing about Kind and what we tried to do is first of all, we made a ton of mistakes, obviously. Right?
You're always
Congrats.
going to. Congrats. There's stuff to grow.
When Josh told me he wanted to, I'll tell you the story about like how I came to be a Kind, which is also like a really cool story. But he told me he wanted to throw 5 events in 3 days, and I was like, that's insane. But him and I have always shared a dream. Back when I was at Lyft, we used to throw Lyft Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And I'm a huge. It's weird not weird to say this, but it's interesting to say this. It's like I'm very hypercritical of some of the things Canada does sometimes, but like. That's just because I know it's like we can be better. But we legalized weed. We legalized cannabis.
That's sick, yeah.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah,
And
it is,
because
yeah.
of that, like I'm like once like billion times like smarter, but also 1 billion times like dumber because there's so much more to know.
Yeah.
And so that's crazy that we got to like do that.
Yeah.
And so I always wanted to do Kind Cannabis Week, Canadian Cannabis Week.
Right.
Celebrate. And like still I believe fundamentally to this day, the greatest export of cannabis in Canada is the knowledge capital. It's like what we know, what we get to talk about.
Yeah,
like
we
it's
geek out heavy.
Insane.
Yeah, we
like,
geek out heavy.
You know?
Because we're actually pretty good science.
I love that. Of course you are.
Canada's
Those are the
pretty good
definite-
science.
Yeah.
And then cannabis has a lot of science that we need to catch up on.
What
Because it was kept oppressed for a while.
what
a long
what
time.
was your relationship with cannabis? When did you find it?
I love that question.
Let us ask. Now we've caught up on the things of your output. Now
I
we
don't
have some
even think we
questions for
have,
you.
but-
I don't even think we have. I think
I'm
we
kidding.
went down a crazy rabbit hole.
No, but what was your experience as a
But now we're
teenager?
asking this question. So.
No, we got a lot, and I still got to answer a question. No, but what was it like? Were you as a teenager? Did you get into cannabis early, or?
This is a fun question because I believe, and I think I use the word fundamentally sometimes too much. That and like absolutely because I'm like so sure but not.
Full commitment.
Okay, so I believe it is my perspective that every single person, similar to how a lot of people have relationships to love and emotions and
Where's the
food
joint?
and drinks, everyone's gonna have a relationship in some shape, way, or form with cannabis. And the crazy thing about cannabis, and I was just talking to Dorsa, my girlfriend, about this thing, same thing, which was like cannabis affects everyone so differently.
Yeah.
It's so crazy.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yep.
And no one tells you that you have an endocannabinoid system. How did no one tell me?
Yeah. How'd you miss that? How'd you miss how to regulate and put my body in homeostasis naturally?
How did we miss the idea of like CBD, CB1 and CB2 receptors, and like how that bonds with cannabis and CBD, and like these compounds, and like how like what it means? It's just wild. It's just
I know.
it's absolutely insane. And so
It's very curious how they left that out.
Well, because it was illegal.
By the way, one day I'm going to write a book on they.
Fabulous.
They
They.
always know everything, don't they?
Yeah.
They know the weather.
Yeah. They know current events usually.
They know current
That's it.
events. They
They
know the
are
news.
current events.
They
are current events.
They usually have some quotes that are appropriate in certain emotional capacities.
Yeah.
Like, I can't think of one right now, but they also do those.
They know how to use the media to instill some fear sometimes. Anyways.
Yes, that is the they. That's the they I'm talking about.
Okay, so
That
relationship to cannabis. Relationship to cannabis right now is beautiful, growing, most probably everlasting, and mysterious, mischievous, spontaneous, structured, and just again like very fluid. Before
These are
love
subjective words that
that.
express your relationship with cannabis currently.
currently,
That
yeah.
was so nice. That was such a
that
creative way to
was-
communicate
I know.
that.
Thank you for that.
We do creative list forms for the record.
Love that. Also, you should trust everything that these two say because they're literally the most talented people.
They're so sweet.
That was the craziest show I've ever witnessed. Sam, if you're listening to this, I'm looking at you, Sam, right now, okay? Also, shout out to Sam for
Shout
bringing
out
me
to
out. I was
Sam.
feeling down
Thank
that
you,
night. I was feeling down that
I'm
night.
glad you came.
Oh.
Thank you, Sam.
I was feeling down that night.
It was time to lift your spirits.
Yeah, it
That's
was
our
just-
intention. That's what our shows are. That's what Disciplined Stoners is. We just want to raise our frequency together.
Thanks.
Thank you for coming.
pushing against that. That can be
Yeah,
tricky.
that means a lot. I often pussy out when I'm in
Especially
that moment.
like a later night show.
Yeah.
Like
Thank you.
You
Yeah.
have to
And you
really
look great too.
Oh,
Yeah.
thanks.
Yeah.
Really
Yeah.
appreciate that. What was I wearing? I can't even remember. Oh,
Oh,
the
I have a
PSG
photo.
jersey. The PSG jersey.
Yeah.
That's right. Love PSG. Great team. Zlatan. Okay, so relationship to cannabis before was so I grew up in a immigrant family. My parents moved here when they're 30.
From where?
From Kenya. From East Africa. So Indian ancestry from Gujarat, state of India. Fun story. Britain had colonized 1/4 of the world at a certain point in time, which is wild because
Wild.
Britain is an island, and yes, they might have had a powerful navy and an army, but like perception is crazy.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
you know, like perception is a very crazy thing.
Yeah.
Anyways, now they don't have 1/4 of the world colonized, which is
Awesome.
interesting and way 1,000% better, obviously, because now nationalities can do whatever the fuck they want and all that sort of stuff. Anyways, independence is really tough. And so during the 1960s, 1900s, Indians moved to Kenya. And then once Kenya got independent, what happened was that like a lot of do you know the story about Idi Amin? No, that's in Tanzania. But anyways, long standing history of like a lot of Indians in East Africa.
Cool.
And then my parents were born and raised there in Nairobi. Shout out to Nairobi. So I grew up with Swahili as a language, English, like very British English, and then Gujarati. So like I didn't realize the value of languages. Also, like shout out to the value of the languages. Wow. I'm trying to be fluent in Spanish and Espanol.
What? Yeah, us too. We're trying
yeah.
to get into it, but yeah.
Muy difícil. You like that?
So you have 3 languages naturally.
Yes, but I'm not. I can understand Gujarati really well. Swahili a little bit. Like I can translate Gujarati to a T, but English is obviously the language, and then obviously Toronto mans speak.
Yeah. So you grew
Shout
up
out
in
to the
Toronto.
sixth god Drake himself, man. That guy that guy's done things. Like I was in Croatia last
made
week,
it
and
so
just like
cool.
hearing Toronto, like Toronto's a sick city, man.
Yeah,
It
it's
is.
cool.
It is.
It's fucking cool.
Especially in the summer.
Especially in the
It's
summer.
so world class in the summer. It's absolutely like Paradiso. It's beautiful.
It's so beautiful.
And people are so fucking chill, man.
Yeah.
Everyone just lets you do your own thing, and there's bold styles. There's choices. It's like things are very creative, and there's a lot of representation. Like there's a lot of lot of folk out here, man, being fucking dope. Just
Yeah.
like sharing
Music,
vibes,
food.
learning things, like just by being out here.
Footy. We got Canada Beach Soccer was co-founded in Toronto, the Canadian national beach team. Shout out to Canada Beach Soccer.
Hey, has anyone told you that you're the very best at shouting out?
Yeah, you are shout out king. I gotta say, this is shout out king Shahbaaz. This is gonna be
I
the
love
name. This is gonna be the name of the.
I think maybe you haven't gone a minute without shouting someone out,
Which I
which
love.
I'm feeling very impressed about your network and like.
Well, of course.
Wowza.
So what's an average day for you? Like you talk to so many people. Like we were supposed to do this earlier, but you were doing something, and I love that about you. It seems like you're always on the move, but you're so nice. Like when I'm that busy, I'm very intolerable. I'm so short. I try and have Winnie have conversations for me. Like if I'm that busy, like it's tour life for me. I'm like, hold my bags, get on the plane, like bye-bye, no one talk to me, I'll be on stage. Like that's how I deal with stress. You're so nice. You take the time to even send voice messages or be present or call. It's so wonderful. Like the way you operate is very warm. Have you always been this way?
I appreciate that,
Yeah.
and it's wonderful that you said that. Growing up to my upbringing, my parents, really,
Nice.
I really got some good love, and they really worked really hard.
Feel it.
And so,
That's so nice.
Shout out to
Shout out,
Shahbaaz's parents.
Mom and Dad. Mom, hope you're feeling better. I know you weren't feeling good last night, and that's why I went home to be a good son.
Well, this
but
might
she looked
be-
after me, regardless.
Yes. Yes.
I got
Feeling
a lot of gratitude because like that love insulates you. I grew up in a house of 13 people.
13.
Whoa.
13, and so can you imagine?
Siblings?
No, so what happened was my dad came to school at the University of Winnipeg, straight from Kenya.
Okay.
Shout out to the University of Winnipeg. Doing big things.
Winnipeg.
Yeah, University of Saskatchewan was actually in the documentary How to Change Your Mind. They were one of the
Yes.
first researchers on LSD. So
Saskatchewan's
that's pretty fucking
super cool.
badass. Also, Regina's awesome. Shout out to the Bud Sense boys in Regina. Love their platform. They're doing sick stuff. If you're a retailer, check them out. Bud Sense, Kirk, that's going to cost you. Just kidding.
I'm gonna smoke this. Okay.
Yeah, smoke it. So 13 people, and like the thing is, it's like it was my grandparents. My dad has himself and 3 brothers, and then obviously my mom, my 3 aunts, and then they had, I grew up with 2 cousins who were like sisters, and then my brother, and then myself. And so it's like
Wow.
one day I'll write a screenplay on like 13 people trying to live together in like today's society. That was when like back when you had like dial up, like that I got to see dial up phones, internet, and like all that sort of stuff. And so I was really really loved because I was the youngest, and so I got super blessed. But to your point of like
Beautiful.
busyness and that, it's like it is try
You're on the
I
move,
like to build, but sometimes like I can not be so disciplined, right? With my time,
You're fueling.
yeah, and
You're fueling
and
ideas.
It's lots of things, but I could always be better. But
And you're obviously a natural writer.
I'm honestly now I'm leaning into it more.
Yeah.
I appreciate
'Cause I
that.
hear that.
I appreciate
Yeah.
that. I appreciate
You're
that.
gonna start storing your energy there and build that discipline, and then it just flows out of
I
you.
know.
I'm looking forward to these screenplays and these write-ups and blogs. Do you currently do like a Medium?
So I
Or a
have one
blog.
article on Medium.
Very
so
good.
I have a YouTube.
I would read your-
not a lot of people know this, but I have a YouTube channel. Okay, so I have a
Y'all gonna
brand-
know about it now.
I have a. All right, I'll lean into this for a second because I think it's important. I think it's
Content
important.
creation,
Something
let's
that's
go.
always plagued me in my life, and actually, I'll ask this question back to you before I answer. I love this interview question. Shout out to John Key, my manager at Salesforce for 2 years. He's one of the guys who just absolutely
Shout out,
fucking.
John.
He got me into this leadership program. You learn a lot about yourself, and like you learn to be vulnerable because like the more you know, the less you obviously know.
Right.
So,
That's a
what
good line.
is? Are you guys ready for the question?
Yeah.
I'm ready. I'm so ready.
We've been
All right.
answering. We're ready.
What is a perception people have about you that is not true?
I think some people think I'm a dick. But, like, really, I just allow them to think that so they don't fuck with me. I think some people think I'm a dick, but it's not true. It's
Why?
not actually true.
How come?
Why? Because of how my behavior was on the surface with them. It could accurately depict someone who...
It might sometimes seem either disrespectful or...
I disregard people's... negativity sometimes. Like if someone doesn't contribute positivity, I kind of deprioritize their contribution as not a leading force of happiness. So I think people are like, well, he's an asshole, and I'm like, well, I'm ultimately just trying to drive a ship towards some positive fucking vibes here. Do you want to make a kumbaya circle about you? But I'm not sure. If I saw that person by themselves, I'd be the first to buy them a drink and listen and say, hey, are you okay? But right now, when this ship needs to move, you can go deal with that, and this has to move. So I am a little short sometimes, but I'm truly not a dick. I'm truly compassionate. I care about that person, but I'm also more of a leader in that moment than I am a therapist. So I prioritize things. So that's probably the most honest answer I can give.
That's a wonderful answer. You should. You have to. Time is literally the most important thing, like qualifying that. And, you know, the challenge, I think, is, like, you can't change no matter how much you try. Like, there's certain people who are just gonna have bad energy, and that's wild. That's wild for us to understand.
I can't heal you right now.
Love that.
Maybe you can read my book. I wrote a book for people in pain. Literally. Shut the fuck up, thoughts and feelings.
Read his book.
I want to help you, but not in those moments. I cannot.
Is this you?
That?
Yeah.
No, that's her.
Oh, that already came.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
Dude,
I'm
so good.
on
But
this.
I'm gonna be good too, actually.
Okay, but what about you then? What about you? Oh, sorry, Winnie.
I think initially what came up was that I had this like really positive attitude all the time. I've been working on that because that was a way for me to.
You're working on your really positive attitude.
Yes, because it wasn't
Constantly,
authentic.
Yeah, constantly broadcasting positivity just because it's what people want to hear.
Yeah, so it was a way for me to secure a network because people would come.
Always
happy Winnie.
Happy Winnie.
Yeah, so I think that's kind of originally what I would say, but that you know, in the last 2 years, I've really been just more honest with the people that I love. I think also I didn't want to worry anyone ever if I wasn't pleasant and completely toxic positivity. Ralph.
It is borderline toxic when you're not allowing yourself to feel and heal.
Yeah, for sure.
Love that.
So, yeah, I'm gonna choose that.
What about you, bro?
That's a really insightful answer.
Thank you.
You're so wonderful.
What was the question? I'm fucking around.
What's a perception that people have of you that's not true?
Okay. Everyone always thinks I just either have it figured out or I just came about it. Like it just like came to me. Like, you know, like
you're not just out here trying.
Yes. Which is so interesting.
That's your demeanor, man.
You really do have big poppy energy.
Thank you.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
I appreciate that. That's
You're tall, you know, easy on the eye, sweet guy, easy to approach,
Big
and very
energy.
very warm.
You want to ask me directions.
Exactly. You're like, hey man, very approachable, well put together guy. Just like, pardon me, could I bother you for how to get to the coach store?
But no one sees the lots of procrastination and the sheer panic sometimes, or no one sees the also then after I get past that stage, it's like, okay, then I have to like actually, you know, work and execute on it.
Yeah.
And like the like calculated, the example I always use is like, I'm the type of person that like I was terrible at showing my work. And,
Yeah.
and like I would just
Me
do.
too.
I would even fucking do it on the sheet. I would do it on a side sheet.
Same.
And then never put it on the sheet.
Same.
And so
They would
like,
deduct points for that.
and so the thing exactly, and the thing so
Fucking
where is
broken
your
system?
Show your work.
Yeah.
But I mean, now I get why. Because it's
So
really
you can
important for like a formulaic approach and
To show the team.
to show the team, like, and it's fun, and this is why I love being and I'm so grateful for like Salesforce and being like a sales leader and finding that path, because it's like regardless of the creative, now it's cool because I'm known kind of a little bit, like I got to like produce, direct, create with Josh and the rest of the Kind team, but like led it Kind Gardens, and that was like a really important piece for me. And there's lots of learnings, but like we got sampling done, we got 6 speakers that weren't paid for, that were on emotional intelligence and
Yes.
success and building a
So
brand
good.
and building a community. It's just like,
Mindful shit. That's what the 420 community has to offer. It's mindful.
and it's these future leaders and
It
this
is.
beautiful like opportunity. But anyways, so
That's
no one
so awesome.
no one gets to kind of to see just like the grind or the late nights or like
Yeah.
not to say
Yeah.
that there's always late nights. Like I love early mornings too, but early morning workouts are great.
So good, man.
That honestly changed my life. 7 a.m. workouts.
Get your head right.
That was
7
crazy.
a.m.,
Holy
that's the
shit.
move, yeah.
And what's cool about getting older is that like I'm waking up earlier.
Oh yeah, you appreciate life more too. You just appreciate life.
Shout out to Santa Teresa, Costa Rica. Shout out to Santa Teresa.
That
Costa
was the
Rica.
longest between shout outs, Shahbaaz. You gotta keep these up, buddy. That was, you fucking let that
Because
one slip.
the power of seeing, getting up, taking a surfboard, getting out at like 5:30, 5:45, and seeing the sunrise from
man.
the water or
Yeah.
the
Are you
sunset.
Serious? Yes.
Got to do that for 6 months as a result of
Oh.
COVID, because I took the opportunity
Yes.
to be better.
You
in that
dipped.
moment.
You dipped. You went to
I
Costa
mean,
Rica.
I just my whole thing during COVID was like, who do you want to be coming out of it?
Exactly.
Right? Like, who are you? This is an opportunity.
We dove into,
100%.
but we stayed here.
You stay here, yeah.
We
it
went through
got
our beings.
To me, at the end,
I bet.
I was exhausted.
It was
by the
getting
end
it was
of
getting to me like when I was.
But then you made a
Costa
change.
Rica.
Then I made a change, and now I feel better.
You know, everything that it forced you
wild
to
time.
uncover, you really came out the other side in a better direction, even if there were some uncomfortable changes that had to take place.
For sure, and that kind of just is perfect to bring it back and like focus, like just to kind of fill this point and move on. Is just like this. That was the thing. Spanish is hard. It's. I take classes Monday to Thursday. Shout out Ariel, me professor.
That's what I'm talking about.
You're very impressive.
8:30 to 9, right? Beach
And he finds time to do language classes?
Beach soccer is hard as fuck, and it's like you gotta get out on the sand and you
And
gotta
you
like
do
keep
soccer.
it up. Shout out to soccer.
Wait,
Soccer
what?
is the reason.
He plays soccer.
A lot of soccer. So I co-founded with
I
Lucas
wish
and
I
Andre.
played soccer.
We co-founded the Canadian beach soccer team. We've won championships in Italy.
Do you play bare feet?
We do play
What?
bare feet. Take a look at Can Beach Soccer, everybody. We're about to go to the World Winners Cup. It's for the top 20 beach club teams in the world, and it's taking place in Ankara, Turkey. We're looking for sponsorship dollars. So once you sponsor Disciplined Stoners, make your way over to the gravy train.
We're gonna have
Canada Beach Soccer.
Yeah.
We'll have to do a collab. Maybe
Yeah.
I can make you guys a warm up song.
Love that.
Yeah.
Love that.
Do you guys
And
listen?
then
do you guys
maybe we
listen to
can
music?
travel with you.
Yeah. Should.
Just covered by Disciplined Stoners. Make us your media
Your
journalists.
vlog
For Kind?
Your vlog for Kind was awesome. How
Thanks,
cool
bro.
was? Can we just take a second?
That was cool as
How
fuck.
cool
So
was
cool.
Kind?
It was,
It was
so
so
cool.
cool.
Josh,
man.
thank you for giving the industry and I the opportunity. You started Kind. You grinded your face off, man.
Grinded.
And okay, do you want me to tell you the story about how?
Tell us about Josh.
Okay,
And how'd you guys meet?
I'll tell you that story, and then you tell me how you two met. Deal?
Okay, I'm gonna eat a Butterfinger while you do your part.
Love that. Okay, who has the best brand of chocolate bars?
You mean cannabis?
So, no. So one thing
Blessed.
that's amazing about cannabis and not knowing consumer packaged goods, aka CPG, and not understanding like chocolate and deodorant and all these different things. It's like, and brand building, it's like everything I pretty much learned about brand building was maybe like in the background for most of my life, but it was from cannabis. And now I love to go into places. This is part of my like whole this is why the content I want to get back to now that Kind Summer Fair is over, is like going into stores and evaluating why people buy things, and why is this Butterfinger yellow and not blue? Like
It is some blue.
There you go. See? Okay, so the way I met Josh. Anyways.
Next.
Just really quickly, top of mind is like, just on that note, brands, get in, activate in store. You have to build an activation calendar. Do it. Fucking do it.
So true. So true.
Yeah.
Just do it. Honestly, just do it.
And
Otherwise,
give-
no one's
and
gonna
give
know.
the bud tenders
and
your
advertise in Kind magazine health and wellness issues happening.
Yes.
Do it.
Do that.
I almost want to take a picture or like a video of like a brand, how they have to package it, and like what they're able to put in the magazine, and just be like, this is what like the Canadian market's missing, because packaging, labeling, like that matters so much in your buying decision. It's so
much.
crazy.
Oh,
It's so crazy.
man. It's so like constricted right now.
If this Butterfinger looked like was a white package, okay, it had a sign on it, a red sign that said, caution, like chocolate,
like sugar sucks.
sugar
sucks.
Okay, would you be as happy to eat it?
Nope.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I would totally just be like, oh, right, that is horrible for me. And sometimes I would still make the decision to eat it, but less than I do now.
Yeah. That's why it's really interesting to see some of the way the brands are looking at now building in like a lot of consumer insights.
But I do love these.
In
Blessed bars.
Oh yeah, these are beautiful.
Aren't those beautiful?
These are wonderful. I've heard wonderful things about these.
Shout out Angelina.
Shout out Angelina. Angelina, I'm gonna definitely have to try these. Dark
Oh, yeah.
chocolate with cow nibs and sea salt. Nice.
Yeah, it's so good.
I like that. I was just gonna say, like, actually,
Dude,
just
you haven't tried these?
no.
I have one open right here. You're gonna try it on the show. CBD. It's just CBD. So you got nothing to worry about.
Whoa,
Look how beautiful that is.
What's CBD gonna do for me?
It
As
has
a list.
Anti-inflammatory.
Nice. What else?
mainly that we think.
Homeostasis.
We think that's the biggest one.
I think
Interacting
it's definitely
with endocannabinoids.
anti-inflammatory.
I think that's a
properties.
huge issue across the board for
my
so many
heel
people.
was so hurt. My Achilles was so hurt, and that's like one of my nightmares. Knock on wood. And I couldn't play for a while, and I just was crushing some CBD cream on it. And it's so important for people
Oh
to
man,
know.
You
Yeah.
have to have CBD.
I think that I want more people to be using topicals.
Cheers. Well, with this now that we have like blessed bars, come on, it's so delicious.
It's so delicious.
It's cocoa nibs.
This is gonna be really awesome during the holidays. Well done. Mm-hmm. Well done. Well done.
Because mint chocolate.
Oh, it's so good.
And unlike the other chocolate that we have on the table, this is actually good. Like, these are good ingredients.
Let's see. What's the sugar count on here?
I do both.
Yeah, that was wonderful.
But
Love that.
blessed are the best bars on the market. They taste
The
good
story.
and they have the most CBD. So
How we doing?
How
How we
did
doing?
you meet
2
Josh?
minutes.
What?
How'd you meet Josh?
2
And
minutes.
2
It's
minutes?
6:50.
how are you working that kind?
It's nice. Are you sure? It feels like 6:26.
It feels like we're gonna have you on again.
Okay. I can
So
stay
no
like
worries.
4 more minutes.
Okay.
Let's say 5 more. This was fun.
This is great, eh?
Maybe
Time
we just
flies.
wrap up early. I'm just kidding. All right, 5 more minutes.
Yeah.
All right.
Tell
so
the story.
how I met Joshua Nagel.
Mm-hmm.
You see, Josh is one of the most wonderful and kind and caring, compassionate people ever. But sometimes he doesn't come off like that, right? And some of the great ones do, right? And for me, the very first time, we had tried to connect a couple times on GCal. Just on LinkedIn as COVID was happening. It was 2020. I was in Costa Rica, and somehow like I'd seen Kind, and we chatted, and I tried to, we tried to connect. We couldn't do it. One time I bailed, one time he bailed, and then like we just couldn't get him back
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this guy hates me.
That
and I was like,
happens.
fuck this guy for hating me. You know?
Yeah, that happens. Yep, that happens. I know
Yeah.
exactly what you're
Yeah.
talking about.
Totally.
I
Me
got a couple
too.
on ice right now. You know who you are. We'll
Yeah.
get back on track. It's all good.
Yeah.
You're not enemies yet. That's the best part.
Yeah. Or are you frenemies? Also, shout out to frenemies. I had a frenemy
I got
who
some good
I wouldn't
frenemies out
be
here.
here today without you, Nikki. You know who you are, Nikki. We're gonna go have a non-alcoholic brand beverage next week. Nikki runs Groovy. Shout out to Groovy.
Cheers,
He's killing
Groovy.
the game. I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing if not for Nikki Sani and a beer and a couple of the guys at Sales for Fabian.
I
You know,
love
so-
frenemies.
Anyways, but Nikki was a true frenemy, now a real good friend who I'm about to invest in, friends and family around.
Frenemies,
Wow.
frenemies are strong people because they're strong enough to be.
What's the
frenemy.
definition of a frenemy?
Ooh, that's good.
Nice.
Oh, that's good. I like
I'm
where
end up
this is
drinking
going.
this
Yes, first, 100%. Frenemies have to be so strong, but you almost marvel and hate the fact that they are so strong because they're so strong.
So they're the.
So
They're
so
the-
you admire them.
Okay, you know
Is that a frenemy?
They're
But they also
sometimes-
do what can look like shady things.
Oh, okay.
There are people who often you see out. They can often be in a similar category as an acquaintance, but acquaintance is someone that you might want to spend time with. A frenemy is someone like, you're for some reason
You're
in-
blocking my path to get to where I need to go.
You're in the same ecosystem, and there's a competition there, but there's no reason to dislike each other. But it could go either way. It could be like, fuck this guy, or
Okay.
it could be like, there's an opportunity for us to work together. And either way that goes will affect my emotional state. So you both haven't really made the jump. No one's made the mistake of jumping too soon. So that's a beautiful thing about frenemies, is it is half friends potentially and a potential
Okay.
enemy if you get off on the wrong track too. So it's often they stand where
So it's
acquaintances
like a
stand.
50-50 friend.
Yeah, you never know. But
It's a
I really.
convenient industry friend or something.
And the thing is, I was definitely his frenemy too, which was nice. Which is cool.
Oh, you played your
Which is
role.
cool,
If they're playing their role, guess what? So are
Out here
you.
being
Yeah,
a frenemy to
totally.
those who deserve it.
It hasn't clicked in a holistically authentic way yet.
I was gonna write a post on frenemies the other day. Honestly, I was just like, that's amazing.
That's
Like,
what I feel frenemies is. Would you
Yeah.
would you share that sentiment?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. It's
Yeah.
wonderful. Frenemies are, in retrospect, wonderful. In current spect,
They'll push you.
in the present
too.
moment,
They'll
they
push
are they are tough. They're gonna push you, and they're gonna make you question a lot of things if you're good enough. If you're good
Yeah.
enough,
Dude, that just sounds like a good friend.
but they don't know they're doing
But-
that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. This wasn't a heartwarming text combo. This was.
This is like, you just got the promotion, motherfucker.
Yeah, this is like your own
hear ya.
insecurities due to them. You know when you catch the FOMO on IG.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
How long was that story?
Yeah, we
Don't
gotta
worry
go.
I'm the worst.
We gotta go.
I'm not good at telling
Okay,
stories.
but let's go. Let's go.
You
Wrap
know
it
what I
up.
do
Wrap
like?
it up. Wrap it up.
Digression. Huge digressor.
Wrap it up.
All right. I'm gonna wrap it up because the story is really powerful. Because this is the reason Kind Cannabis Week was brought to you.
Wow.
And we're gonna continue to hopefully push the needle and do it with. This is crazy. I work at a cannabis brand that's a media and events company that throws awesome events and writes awesome content called Kind, and it's all about being more kind to people because kind is the missing, I believe, currency in the world, and cannabis makes you a little bit more kind.
Totally.
Oh, it does.
And it's like,
It really
You know
does.
how much, and that's what you asked me earlier, like, why are you so nice? Because I'm just like, because the opposite of like, and projecting even if I'm thinking like straight up, like, this person is ridiculous, and or I was gonna swear and say bad things, but also I don't want to.
It's better off on your character if you don't most times.
I know. But you can't, right? And so like you gotta just take it, listen. Though that's the cool thing I learned is like listening to listen and not listening to respond.
Yes.
Mm.
That was a talk by Simon Sinek. Shout out to Simon Sinek.
Shout
The
out.
Y
That's
circle,
a good
the
shout
Y
out.
That's a good
circle
one.
changed my life. Okay, anyways, really quickly. So, meet Josh. don't have the best start to our relationship. Start to connect, have one conversation. I tell them a little bit about Lift and Co. And I tell them a little bit about, this is what I'm starting to write on LinkedIn. And back to the thing about what's a perception. People think that I just, didn't invest in my personal brand. But truthfully, I did. I got, I had some consulting sessions with a friend and someone who I think is very good at their job, Adam Robles from Reach Agency. He's awesome. Their agency is awesome. And
Shout
he
out.
helped, big shout out. And he helped kind of put things into
Shout out with
perspective.
Shab.
And teach me about branding. The cool thing is when you learn about things to make you better, you can then go take those things and apply them.
Yes.
And then everyone thinks that you know what you're doing. And
I
you're
know,
like, no.
that's fun.
You get the jump.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, you get
cool.
the tools and
So,
you get the jump.
Just learn more shit. If you remember
Yeah,
nothing
keep
else
learning.
from this podcast,
Yeah.
because you guys are probably like super stoned as I am right now, that dab was awesome.
Isn't that nice? Shout out Joe Hash.
Learn more shit. Okay. Anyways, really quickly, back to the story. So we met. I invested in my personal brand. Adam helped me. I was starting to write a lot more on LinkedIn. Fun fact, I was always like, oh, like people think I'm just like a nice guy. So I started to be a little bit more like, I started to like want to embody this like more blunt and like not villain, but like questioning the like status quo.
Mm-hmm.
And also it was a time where it was really interesting because it was COVID. And I have my beliefs on COVID. Obviously
Me too.
deadly virus, yeah, but like I believe the way in which things happened went down without discussion, and it was very like just
Yes.
like this is a way to do it. And the excuse I always used to use, or the comparison was always like, if you're being taught, like I remember being taught calculus in grade 12 and hating it, and being like, I do not want to go ever to a calculus, but I loved business and I loved finance, and I literally had to take a calculus class in school, and I was like, in first year university, I was like, fuck this, but I had a different teacher. And I learned a different way. And I was like, that's another thing. Figure out your learning style is one thing I wish I had told my younger self, right?
Yeah, definitely learn. I also challenge the status quo.
I know.
Yeah.
No, we need to have more conversations about that.
Yeah.
And that's why I bounced, because I didn't believe in what was happening. But also, traveling during COVID, sorry to say, was like the easiest thing ever.
Yeah.
Now it's a nightmare. Absolute nightmare. But I still love it, obviously.
Yeah, of course, got to.
So I was in Costa Rica, and then I flew to Mexico City, and I was just feeling really down. And I had a scheduled call with Josh, and Josh wanted to pitch me this idea. And the idea was to throw an event, okay? And so just rewind for a second. During like a week before, I was like not feeling like, the COVID thing, come back to Toronto, I was, also coming back to an ex-girlfriend, like that was a COVID girlfriend, like lots of different crazy things.
Shit.
And,
Shit.
I just like wasn't feeling it. And I'd watched this is controversial to say, but like everyone thinks of Playboy as this like brand that exposed and, really like drove like women as objects and sex and things like that. But for all their flaws and for everything that they did, they created this culture, this counterculture to everything that was going on in the 1960s, 70s. After the 50s, everyone was very conservative. There was all this research going on in all these different drug classes, and then all of a sudden the 60s hit, and like everyone's fighting a war they don't want to fight. There's women's suffrage, there's black lives, racism, insane racism, and Playboy became this media, this medium, this channel for different voices, a different type of rally and a different type of movement.
So good.
They united the white and black community. They were the first people to broadcast black people and white people on the television at Playboy's Penthouse together. So much so that the South channels didn't,
Shout out Playboy.
show them. Yeah, and Martin Luther King wrote like his last will and testament and sent it to them to publish. Like they were against the war on Vietnam, and like it was through this channel of like
Wow.
showcasing yourself and like
When
like,
people were being against the war in Vietnam, it was the same people rallying against the people against the mandates and stuff. Now it's just a copy paste sign of the times. The reason keeps changing, but the modality of the humans uprising and communicating a certain way continues to.
and kind is not
manifest.
by any means a political platform, and I by no means am a politician, But I believe the most dangerous thing in this world is not having a perspective.
Yes.
And that's the thing. If you're anyone who asks me about the cannabis industry, and I always will say, like, yes, we can have 15 minutes chat, whatever, if anyone's looking to get in. But the one thing I say is, like, just have a conversation and develop a perspective.
Yeah.
And so, I'd watch that and I was like, okay, COVID's happening. There's a war that no one really knows or wants to fight. And there's different, knowledge pieces. There's women's suffrage, it was right around like some crazy things happening, with some ridiculous things around the Me Too movement and like, men being bad people. And then it was like Black Lives Matter, movements and like
it all came.
It was crazy.
It was like an unnegatable, a big shift in the earth at the time because of all these signs.
And I was like
prophecy shit.
And I was like, and I was working at Dutchie at the time, and I love tech. I love SaaS sales and tech and building awesome tech companies, and that's like one of my true callings in life. But I was like, I've never really been in media. I don't really, know much about like even throwing big events or whatever, or building a brand. But I do think that there's this idea for this voice, and if the voice can be united with kindness and cannabis, well then that's pretty crazy.
Yes. Because it is those fringe things like Playboy with sex. This has to do with cannabis. It is those extra kind of those kind of edgy, I guess I want to say, sometimes publications that carry those messages and expand and reach
just
people.
Like everyone is entitled to an opinion. Have it. Let's just talk about it. Live in harmony. Have a perspective. Treat people like kindness. You
just
know what
be
I mean?
friends anyway, no matter what your
and
opinion
just discuss
is.
shit.
Yeah,
And
be able to be friends and neighbors no matter
and
what.
be able
even
to
if you
change your
don't agree.
mind.
Yeah.
Right? Gary Vee always says that. Shout out to the man himself, Gary Vee. Okay, but with 1 minute left, this is what happened. Oh my goodness. 1 minute left. Here's what happened. Josh called me that day and we talked, and I was transparently having a little bit of a breakdown because like not to say I'm good at not having breakdowns, like whatever. But like I'm normally in like a pretty
centered.
Yes, exactly. That's a good way to say it. Equilibrium is what I was going for. In equilibrium, love economics. Shout out to economics. Okay. And so Josh called me, and he was just a real person. We started this conversation talking about real humans. He was just a real human, and he was just like talking me through it. He's 9 years older. He's an absolute beauty. He's turning 40 this year. He's just so passionate, so kind. And so awesome, and just wants to do good in the world and build cool businesses and make people happy. And so he just believed in me that day, pitched me the idea of a trade show. I was like, let's throw a fair. And thus the Winter Fair was born. I signed on as a consultant, loved working with him so much that I left Dutchie in on February 14th, Valentine's Day. Started the kind on Valentine's Day.
That's romantic as fuck.
So romantic.
That's so beautiful.
I was
Congrats,
like
man.
adamant that we wanted to get the press release out on Valentine's Day, but we couldn't get it done in time. And then I just
So you nailed it. I met you.
Like I'm doing this.
So
I love Valentine's Day also.
I met you on the
Wow.
And
the
Thanksgiving.
Winter Fair.
Actually, Thanksgiving is my favorite.
American
Thanksgiving is my
everyone's
favorite holiday. It's American Thanksgiving though for me.
It's both.
They really go in.
They go in for sure.
Fuck. Beautiful story.
Oh my
Thank
God.
you.
Yeah, you have to go.
Thank you for joining us.
This is so fun.
All the
Thank you so much.
Thanksgivings
so
are great.
fun.
All your stories were great. All the digressions were
Yes.
great. All the shout outs were great.
What a fun episode.
Shout out you, bro.
Oh, sweet.
Thank
Shout
you for
out
being
two.
here.
Thanks for coming
Thank
on.
you.
Thanks for having me. That was so fun.
But take your Butterfinger to go.
Yeah, definitely.
And guys, we'll see you next time.
Subscribe.
We will put the links to the 4 or previously mentioned websites below. Check out our Patreon and love yourself and your neighbor.
Appreciate you.
Love. Any closing words? Any final words for the people?
No, just learn
That
more
was
shit.
good.
Learn more shit.
Yeah.
That ending was really good, too.
That's really, really
yeah,
cool.
That was so
That was
fun.
awesome. So
So
fun.
fun.
Stoners. The gateway drug to mindfulness.
Gateway drug to mindfulness. Let's roll one up and take a hit. Gateway drug to mindfulness. Let's roll one up and take a hit. Gateway drug to mindfulness.
Hey, wait!
Roll one up and take a hit.
We got a new thing.
Oh, right.
We need to tell you about our new thing.
Support the show now on Patreon. Thanks for watching, guys. You're the fucking coolest.